What's going on, beautiful people? It is I, your flying locomotive SuperCliff, coming at you live with a brand new video. And today we'll be covering and continuing Jed MacKay's Moon Knight, issue number 14. But before we do any of that, if you are new to the channel, then smash that like and subscribe button. That way, you guys never miss out on what's happening on this channel. Also, my goal right now is to reach 1,000 subs by the end of the year, so if you guys can do that, that'd be pretty awesome. And so without further ado, let's jump right into Moon Knight, issue number 14. Our story starts things off with Moon Knight doing his thing, traversing the city rooftops, jumping about and, just being that watchful vigilante that everyone wants and loves. However, while Marc is doing what he does as Moon Knight, simultaneously he's having himself a freeway conversation with his personalities, Mr. Stephen Grant and Mr. JakeLockley. And basically they're having a conversation about Marc's moral compass. Now, prior to this, both Steve and Marc were cool about hanging back while he was in control and doing his thing. But as time went on, they noted that Marc's behavior was slowly going out of control. So much so that he was willing to legitimately murder Zodiac right in front of Reese. Thus, he crossed the line. Marc crossed the Rubicon. Now, Marc tries to reason the situation with them, because from his point of view, the age of Khonshu, back during Jason Aaron's Avengers run, which, by the way, I love Jason Aaron. I think the guy is a phenomenal writer, but holy shit, he needs to get off that book immediately. Anyways, and so because of that event where Khonshu took over the world, Marc realized he needed to be in control 100% of the time. He needed to win back the people's trust, but he also needed to put aside the notion that whenever people think of Moon Knight, they think of that crazy guy, and so he needs the public perception to go away. Because not only does it make people, according to him, feel uncomfortable, but it's why he has no one else in his life anymore. He doesn't have his wife, he doesn't have his daughter. Therefore, as a result of that, Marc's been able to take control and focus solely on the Midnight Mission and by protecting the people who travel during the night. Marc also mentions that the Avengers are now watching over him. Like he's got Black Panther on his butt, surveillance 24/7 to make sure that Marc doesn't go crazy again. But Steve proposes the ultimate question, where he straight up tells Marc that both him and Jake are not the reason why bad stuff is happening to him. Like, dude, we didn't make anyone not trust you anymore. We weren't the ones who chose to carve off Bushman's face. We've only been here to help you since the beginning, to help you reach your full potential. So what I'm trying to say, Marc, is that we're not the ones responsible. You are. You're the one who's been burning bridges. Now, another thing to keep in mind is while Marc's personalities are having this intermission, back in the real world, Moon Knight gets ambushed by two assassins, the same ones who were hired by the vampire leader in the previous issue. And these two badasses are ruthless. Legit, these guys are working in unison. And they are just slapping Moon Knight around like some basic Tuesday. But while Moon Knight is getting his butt handed to him, this is where Marc's intermission reaches its pivotal point, the main objective. How come you, Marc Spector, haven't told Reese about your DOD? Why haven't you told her the truth? And that's when Marc admits that because he needs her, he doesn't want to scare her off. Reese is good to him. Because according to Marc, everyone he knows is either a superhero or some ex-Hydra assassin, whereas Reese is just a normal person. Sure, she's a vampire now, but it's a condition that she's dealing with. Essentially, she's the one who Marc needs to be like. Reese, much like Huey from The Boys, is Marc's moral compass, and so he can't just risk scaring her off like that. But if she didn't get scared off, that would mean that Marc's personality will now have to compete with Steve, someone who's sophisticated and charming.
No, that's actually crushing to hear.
And Jake, who's a super cool cab driver. They're basically two versions of Marc who people actually like. And so with that, Marc declares that he doesn't need any of them. He doesn't need Steve and he doesn't need Jake, because with Marc being alone, it's why he wins. But Steve begs the question, dude, how come you're losing right now? As we see Moon Knight getting slapped around by the bad guys. Because without Marc's full self, he's simply just punching shadows. And that's why he's losing this fight. It's why he's getting his ass kicked. Now Steve reiterates that Marc needs Reese because she shows him what he wants to be. Okay, cool. However, Reese doesn't ignore her vampirism. She doesn't think that she can cure it, and so she lives with it. Therefore, if he wants to be like Reese, then Marc's gotta do the same thing. He needs to accept himself. Every part of himself he needs to accept. And thus, once Moon Knight is about to fall, once he's about to lose and just lose everything, Marc admits that he was wrong. Rather, he does need people. He needs his friends and his personalities, because in truth, he can't do this alone. He needs his friends. which is exactly what happens because right then in that moment, both Hunter's Moon and Tigra show up to give Moon Knight a helping hand. And seeing that they're outnumbered, the two assassins dip out of the scene in order to plan for another time. And once the fight is over, Marc tells his personalities that it's time to forge a new self. Because if we're to fix things for the better, then we need to do this together. Squad Moon Knight. And that, folks, was the end of Moon Knight, issue number 14. And thank you guys for checking out my video, as it truly, truly means the world to me. So yeah, I enjoyed this issue. You know, I'm loving the message that's surrounding this book. I liked how both Jake and Steve were trying to get through to Marc regarding his mental illness, his DOD, and how that part of him will never go away. Like, it's always gonna be a part of his life. And I just love seeing Marc come to terms with not being a normal person because, let's be honest, at the end of the day, no one's normal. Everyone, myself and so many others, we all have that bit of fuckery in us. So it's nice seeing that level of self-acceptance on paper. But yeah, as always, I'm your majestic sailor over at SuperCliff. And if you guys are new to the channel, then do me a solid by smashing that like and subscribe button. And also the notification bell so that you'll never miss out on an upload. And so that you'll always be kept up to date with your favorite top tier comics happening in the comic book world. Now tell me, what are your thoughts and opinions on this issue? Are you guys excited for issue number 15? Let me know down in the comment section below. And until the next video, peace. Giggity goo.